Yes, you are listening to the Ready, Set, Retire radio podcast with Steve Anzuoni. My name is Jessica Forkel. Get more details on the website at fairwayfinancial.net. We all know we are right here just on the cusp of tax season here. I myself have been gathering all my information from my accountant and whatnot. And I'm also in the back of my mind thinking, all right, what's going on with these Trump tax cuts? I know a while back he said within his first 100 days he wants to have this signed in and passed through Congress, etc. So, Steve, let's talk about the importance of these tax cuts being passed through 2030.
Well, not so much the tax cut. It was actually a couple of what I find to be most interesting topics. I mean, I think most of us are tired of learning about what they're going to attack next or go after next and this and that. I'm more concerned about, can we keep the tax cuts that were put into place in his first term? Because I think those were very valuable to the general audience out there. That, in other words, it didn't just help the billionaires, right? It helped the working class people, the middle class people, everybody. Keeping the federal brackets low is a good thing for everybody. And so what he's trying to do now is to extend, all right? Because what he did, 6 years ago, was put in place, and it had a sunset provision, which means it goes away. And if Congress doesn't do anything, these provisions will sunset and go away the end of this year. So it's really important to jump on it early. So I'm glad that he's pursuing it aggressively, because one thing you want to do is to plan way ahead. And we're coming up on tax season now, right? And so it'd be really good if by, I know they're talking April, getting the full package done, but let's just say June, right? If we could figure it out before the summer gets going, what our brackets are going to be in the future, then we can do some proactive planning for the year. And a lot of it will involve, like, for example, Roth conversions is a very hot topic. Do I convert my existing IRAs to Roths? Do I pay the tax now? Do I not do it? It's not as easy as it sounds, because obviously tax-free is better than tax-deferred. But what is the price that you have to pay to get there? That's the formula, and that's the secret. And I got a little quick client story here. So I had someone come in recently who had sold a business, and they're trying to figure out that same thing. Steve, most of our money was in IRAs and stuff like that, so it's qualified monies. Should we be doing Roth conversions this year because of where the tax brackets are now versus waiting and all this stuff? I'm working on with them now and their CPA if it even makes sense to do it, because there's such a large pile of money already in IRAs. Mm-hmm. We're trying to figure out what the effect will be going forward in the future, because remember, every time you convert, the year that you convert, all those conversions are counted as ordinary income for that tax year. So if you're going to do it, you better be prepared to pay taxes for that year, right? And it's a one-time pain, right, in your wallet, but long term it could work out very, very well. And so, but it's a balancing act, Jess. It's not as easy as, do it. So we're looking into it. And that's the way I approach a lot of this stuff, is I try to take the emotion out of it and look at it logically. Have a sit down, have a meeting with someone and say, okay, hey, Steve, I heard about this. Should I do it? Should I not do it? And let me try to ease the anxiety that is, a lot of people are consumed by right now, and rightfully so, by the way, because this is a big decision. It's kind of like your Social Security checks, which also came up in the discussion. Steve, do I take it now? Do I wait till age 70? And so we had to sit there and talk about the breakdown, the amount of money that you'd get if you waited. But of course, you're going to lose those 3 years while you wait. And what's the makeup period, which is usually 12 years? And how's your health now? So it's a lot of issues. And you need to approach it logically. You got to take the emotion out. And I know it's very emotional, and I get it. And the media, social media, all that stuff doesn't help. They like to add fuel to the fire because it's them press and print and all that stuff. But the reality is take a deep breath. And that's why you want to work with someone who's been in the industry a very, very long time, who understands it, who gets it, who can handle it methodically for you, logically for you, and put together a game plan to show you cash flow. Here's your income. Maybe these 2 years, you're going to take it from this pile, and then we're going to switch to the next pile, and here's why we're going to switch to the next pile. And so it's something I just love, Jess. I mean, it's a financial puzzle. And my book that I wrote, Tee Up Your Retirement, addresses that beautifully. And I'd love to offer it out there to anybody listening today. Please give us a call, and we'll get you a copy of my book. But it really does explain getting into the conversions, the Social Security, all this stuff, and how to put together an income plan, which is really the key to successful retirement income planning, is to have that income plan, not just a pile of money, but where's the money going? How long is it going to last? So very, very important. So Trump's trying to get Congress to just keep what he put in place. So that's the biggie.
I want to continue this Trump conversation. Obviously, we're talking about the tax cuts. Hopefully those are going to be signed in and we'll be good to go for the next, however many years here. Something else that the Trump administration has been busy with and they want to do is eliminate taxes on Social Security for seniors. And of course, this sounds great, right? At the end of the day, though, there's a couple questions we had to answer. Well, who really enjoys this break? Is it the 1-2 percenters? Is it the average Joes? And with Social Security already on a possible path of insolvency within 10 years, could this plan move up that projected date when it comes to benefits? Steve, what are your thoughts?
Well, the insolvency issue has nothing to do with whether your Social Security is taxed or not. That's a tax issue that the government has placed upon us, which is ridiculous because we've already paid taxes on this money. So putting money in all the years that we've worked, if we paid into the system, we've paid taxes already. So they're double dipping us. And they've been double dipping us since the 80s. It's an absolute joke. It's a mess. And all Trump is trying to do is to say, look, this is ridiculous. You shouldn't have to pay taxes twice on your money. And he's right. But, unfortunately, that involves taking tax money away from the government. And that's not an easy thing to do, which I think why he's pushing so hard with this Doge to try to free up money so that he can justify getting rid of the tax. Now, I'm all for it. I don't know what person in America is not all for that. I mean, President Biden pushed through something near the end of his term to get rid of the WEP, the windfall elimination. And that benefited tons of municipal workers and people who are paying, are losing a significant amount of their Social Security benefits. I mean, it was ridiculous. Listen, I'll give him credit. He did a great thing there towards the end of his term and helped a lot of people out, municipal workers and stuff like that. And now Trump is trying to say, look, let's just get rid of this ridiculous tax because it's a separate tax on Social Security. A lot of people don't realize that until they retire, Jess. And I'll give an example of how archaic it is. If you're a married couple making, I think it's like $44,000 and change, like a ridiculously low number. And by the way, this number hasn't changed since the 80s. God forbid they should have added an inflation factor to it, but they didn't purposely. So more and more people are falling into this tax trap. But if you're a married couple making over 44, then 85% of your Social Security income is subject to ordinary income tax. Think about that. It's ridiculous. So if you got a married couple and their combined Social Security income is, say it's $50,000 a year, which is not uncommon. I see that a lot. Can you imagine 85% of that check, like $42,500, whatever that number is thrown into the taxable column with everything else coming in like IRA income or dividends and stuff like that and subject to ordinary income tax. It's ridiculous, right? And I don't know if it's going to get passed because it's a very bold initiative, probably his boldest one yet, if you can believe that.
Yeah.
But, some people think Greenland is his boldest one, but I feel that this one is the boldest one. I don't know. I would love to see it passed. We'll see what happens. It's a wait-and-see game, obviously, but I hope they extend the tax situation where we're at now in the federal brackets, and I hope that goes through. It's all wait and see, Jess. There's nothing you can do right now. Don't fret over it, people. Don't lose too much sleep. Don't get too much anxiety because it's out of our hands anyway. So control what you can, which is what you're saving, where you're saving it, okay, and learn more about what you've got and how you can make that work better for you. That's the game plan. So let me help you with that because this is what I've been doing for over 35 years. I love this stuff, and I can help people get more organized and understand what is out there for them to consider. We just had a phone call with someone who I met, I believe, through this radio show a while ago, and just had the call earlier this week, and they're in Key West. And I'm like, really? I go, you're going to rub that in on me? And so I sent them some ideas and proposals, and I called up to follow up to go over it and talk to them about it. And it was a great conversation. It was awesome. And they had just sold a property, so they were trying to figure out what to do, how it works. And they were pretty conservative people. And so I showed them one plan using her 403B plan from work, which is basically a 401k for nonprofit, right? And I showed them an unbelievable, they couldn't believe it, all right? It was basically an annuity pension plan. It was a fixed rate. The money would grow at 8.5%, Jess. 8.5%.
Wow, that's huge.
In writing.
Wow.
And then I showed them at age 73, because she was 68, so she had some time. He was 74, so I used her IRA money. I let it grow for a few years. And then I said, look at this. If you start taking the income at 73, the payout is 7.9% of that big pile of money. And they were like, wow. I said, I know. I said, and by the way, this is not a hypothetical situation. That's a guaranteed in writing contractual income plan for both of them. So joint income for both. So I wanted to stabilize their guaranteed income. And then we talked about some other opportunities that I had available, which, were basically regular deferred annuities earning a pretty good interest rate, over 5%, which today is pretty good rate on a fixed product. So we had a great conversation, and we're going to follow up next week to see what pieces they want to put into place and how it works. And so if you want to be a part of that discussion, if you would love to have somebody with my years of knowledge to bounce things off of, or to say, Steve, I heard about this. What do you think of this? And let me do that, because I've been around and I can help you. I know a lot about the products that are out there, and I can educate you on that.
In today's show, we've discussed taxes, Social Security, and now I want to jump to another favorite, which is, of course, our 401ks out there. The 401k was introduced back in 1978 as a replacement for the pension. Years later, the Wall Street Journal wrote that the great lie is that the 401k is capable of replacing the old system of pensions, and it was oversold. So, Steve, bottom line, do we stop using our 401k? What do we do here?
No, you don't stop using. You just realize that they sold it. They sold it like the second coming of the pension, and it's not. A pension is a fiduciary obligation of the company you're working for to provide you with a check for life. Now, think about what I just said. It's their fiduciary responsibility to make sure that they have enough money on hand to pay you a check for life, right? And they gave that up. And by the way, the government didn't even blink, okay? They just looked the other way and said, 401k, it sounds awesome. As a matter of fact, we're gonna match. We're gonna give you a match because we're so awesome and we're so nice. And by the way, listen, it's free money. I get it. It is a pretty good deal. But to put your money in a bucket of whatever it's going to be in the future, which you have no idea what it will be, no idea what it's going to pay you, and no idea how long it's going to last. Does that sound like a pension to you, Jess?
No, it doesn't.
Now, is it a terrible thing? No, it's not awful. Anytime you can save money for the future is a good thing, okay? But just be aware, okay, that a 401k is not a pension replacement, okay? It was supposed to be a supplement to the pension. But again, corporations aren't stupid. And if they could take a fiduciary obligation off the books, okay, it would save them millions and millions of dollars. Just like if they could take health insurance off the books, my goodness, what a cost that is to a company. So that's what they did, and the government didn't blink, and voila, most pensions are gone except for, ironically, if you work for the government. So 401ks are fine. Don't stop. There's nothing wrong with them. Matter of fact, if you're in your 50s and 60s, you have the opportunity to fund the heck out of them and put over $30,000 in there a year for you. And if your spouse is working, they can dump in a whole bunch too. I mean, you can go up to like $65,000, $66,000 a year. So pack it away. There's nothing wrong with that. But understand that when you get to retirement, you need to rethink what you have for that money and understand that you need an income. It's all about cash flow and income. Your Social Security is an income check. It's not a lump sum check. Okay, you look at it as a lifetime income check. Now, for most people, especially in the Northeast where the standard of living is very, very high, it's not going to be enough. So you need a supplement to that. And along comes the 401k where you can take a piece of that and supplement your Social Security with another form of a guaranteed lifetime check. And you have the ability to do that. You know, what you need to do is look at that pile of money and ask yourself, all right, how can I take a piece of this and make it a cash flow, make it an income plan so that when I sit down to try to figure out whether I can retire and when I can retire, I can use a piece of this to say, okay, this is going to provide me with X number of dollars of income along with my Social Security is going to give me, you know, let's say $8,000 a month. Okay, so now you have a solid number that you can plan on so that when you retire, you know and can guarantee that that check is going to be there for you. And that is a big part of retirement income planning, and that's what I can help you with greatly on how to do that and the companies that you should consider using, because we obviously as an independent have over 60 companies that we can work with. So it's fabulous where I'm sitting on the same side of the table as you and trying to bring you the best ideas that are out there and the ability to create a cash flow and an income check for life.
Get more details on the website, fairwayfinancial.net. That's fairwayfinancial.net.
Steve Anzuoni is a licensed insurance provider by the Division of Insurance and is not registered as an investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve Anzuoni, Massachusetts Insurance License 3851053. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Steve Anzuoni is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Steve Anzuoni is licensed in your state, please call 508-398-3337.